Yo, what up, Raider Nation? Welcome in to another episode of the Raider Ragu Show. Before we get started, let's do our thing. Please like, share, comment, subscribe on the YouTube channel. Where you get your audio podcast, please put it on auto download the show when it comes on. Last but not least, let's not forget our sponsor, shebangboutique.com. That's SHEE Bang Boutique.com. Go over there and get your girl some fly. Do that for me. Bam. All right, man. So welcome in, Raider Nation. Thanks for joining us. This is a very interesting time, y'all. We're about to see the guys run out there for a ball game tomorrow. Play the Seattle Seahawks, 7 p.m. at Seattle. Very interested to see what we got going. So because of that, the depth chart came out. But first, I just want to talk about a couple things. The first thing is JPJ. It seems like this staff, for whatever reason, is really challenging him. They on his helmet, kind of. When the depth chart came out, we all know that JPJ was the starting center at the end of last year. We all know that when he introduced himself to Ashton Genty, he introduced himself as a starting center. I'm your starting center. And it's been anything but that. So now the depth chart came out. Jordan Meredith is the starting center, and JPJ is at a right guard, and it's him or Alex Kappa. He got a slash, JPJ slash Alex Kappa. So really, he don't even start. He ain't even nailed down no starting position. I don't know if they playing mind games with him because of that. Maybe they trying to make even more of a beast out of him, make even more of a better player out of the guy. I don't know what's going on with that, but as of right now, he don't even start. He don't have a starting position nailed down, and that's JPJ. He was the center at the end of last year. Former last year's regime's second-round pick, 44th overall. I remember the pick. They got love as been making a good pick when they got him. So I just thought that was interesting. They seem to be challenging JPJ's helmet to where maybe they don't think he's as good as we think he is. And I saw some things on film that he could get better at. I saw Elandon Roberts beat him on a play or two when we played Pittsburgh. And now Elandon plays with us. So there's some things he could work on, but we thought he was going to start. And I think it's very interesting that he has not nailed down a starting spot yet. So moving on, the big news of this week is they traded JAKORIAN BENNETT to the Philadelphia Eagles, Thomas Booker, a defensive tackle. The writing was on the wall for JB. He was trying to get back into the groove coming off the shoulder injury. Perhaps him not having the body type of Pete Carroll, traditional Pete Carroll DB, cornerback. He was kind of odd man out. There's no way that all those guys were better cover guys than him. It's just the fit. He wasn't going to play nickel, right? They didn't have him projected as a nickel cornerback. They didn't have his makeup as a nickel guy. And for them, he wasn't an outside guy. So for this regime, they felt better to trade him for a defensive lineman that they do need, right? The defensive lineman room or situation, even though they had signed, after they released Wilkins, they immediately signed the guy from Tennessee. It was Coburn. So Keandre Coburn, they had signed him right after the Wilkins situation. And then they flipped Bennett for another D tackle. So I'm kind of sad to see JB go, but just on the nine, taking the feelings out of it, you know what I'm saying? It's cool for him. He gets to go to the champs, get a chance to compete. They're going to be a good team. We play them later around Christmas. You're going to be a good team. And JB's going to have an opportunity to play over there because they did trade, but they let Darius Slay go. Darius Slay was starting corner over there last year. We know they got Quentin, and we know they got Cooper DeJean, but Cooper plays nickel. So got a opportunity for JAKORIAN Bennett over there, man, in Philly to be with a real good team and get some time. So good for him, man. And then the Raiders got another D tackle, which I told y'all in 21, we had all them D tackles, and it ended up being good for us. We went to the playoffs. That's the last time we won double-digit games. So losing Christian Wilkins, that's one D tackle, and then we got two back. I heard Aliki Fotu is not practicing right now. He got some lower leg injury going on. Not sure what's up with that. They haven't said anything about that. But so I don't think it's serious. But they got another D tackle out of it, and we wish JAKORIAN the best. Look forward to seeing him ball out over there in Philly. So good for him, man. The other dude that they signed, they did this right before they traded JAKORIAN. They picked up that dude, Kawan Baker, the wide receiver. He on the depth chart too now, I saw him. Kawan Baker is a receiver from South Alabama. And I remember seeing him play, man, at South Alabama. He was dynamic. He did everything for them. And I went back and watched some highlights of the kid. So I'm not saying he's about to come start or nothing. I'm just saying, look out for this kid. It's not, sometimes when trades like that happen and guys come in around the same time or they're on the back end of that trade or whatever, you don't even really pay attention to that dude. But I'm saying this dude is a guy that is not going to be just an afterthought. You're going to end up being like, oh, yeah, I remember we got this guy right before we traded Bennett. So they picked him up, man, and he's on the depth chart. So receiver, thirsty, fast, can catch. Was running jet sweeps and whatnot for South Alabama. He was the guy for South Alabama. So we'll see what's up with him. Currently, looks like he is sitting pretty deep on the depth chart at 4th, maybe 5th, in the spot that Trey Tucker and Jack Bech play at. So pretty deep right there. Trey, Bech, Phillip Dorsett, and then these guys, but you don't know. But that guy is not just an afterthought guy. He might be able to turn into something. But anyway, just wanted to share that part. He was thirsty when he was at South Alabama. Very dynamic. And another thing, moving on. Now you got guys that was at training camp last year, and if you guys were around, they was talking about how good the defense was. Oh my God, this defense that. I feel sorry for offenses. And then when we got in that first game, the Chargers banded football on us just like they planned to, right? And I, for one, felt bamboozled, right? And I saw what I saw in the preseason, and it wasn't good. But I still told myself, because what they were saying, right, all these experts and people that were there at practice was telling us that the defense was good, that this defense was so this and that. So they end up being trash. I ain't gonna say they was trash, but they wasn't that good, man. We was getting ran on and everything. So now, though, they done came back and revised that history from last year, and they saying, no, really, it was just Luke Getsy's offense was trash, and that's why the defense looked so good last year. And we should have all known that last year, right? When they were saying that bull job about how good the defense was, we should have known right then. That was some bull jive, and that really it was just the offense that was trash. We wanted to believe because we thought Zeus was going to be the man, right? And we thought with Devontae and Myers that we thought it was cracking. We thought offense was good. So if they out there getting stopped, then the defense must be good, right? But nah, that wasn't what it was, man. The dudes was trash. The offense wasn't good, man. The plays and all that wasn't crisp. The scheme was stale, and the play calling was suspect. So the defense was just all over them guys last year, Paul. So now they're coming back, revising that, saying that really the offense was trash, and it really wasn't the defense. So anyway, I wanted to bring that up. I thought that was funny because last year it was, oh man, this defense that, and then we saw the defense proceeded to give up. I don't know how many 30-point games the Raiders gave up defensively. It was a lot. just going off the top of the head, I remember a good 5 times they gave up 30 points. Not mistaken. Towards the end, they got better, but they was playing weaker teams too. They was playing not as good teams too. Saints and Atlanta, right? Teams of that nature. They wasn't about to be putting up no big numbers on you, but other teams did. I remember Bengals, Steelers, Broncos. They all put up 30 plus, and they wasn't even that great of offensive teams. Anyway, so I thought that was funny, man. Now all of a sudden they revising history, talking about the defense wasn't all that. It was just that the offense was trash. That was funny. And so because it's a game tomorrow, we finally got a depth chart out. And this is cool to see. I know we all have been waiting for this, just like we all been waiting to see him play a game. This year, I plan on keeping it 1,000 with myself. You understand? Tap the screen. I'll give you some likes. I end up keeping it 1,000 with myself. And when I saw the depth chart, man, I wasn't fired up. I ain't gonna lie. I guess seeing it in black and white, we got some work to do. So just the first thing that stood out to me was that Dante Thornton is penciled in as a starting wide receiver. They had an offense in a 11 personnel as the starting. So trips, 3 wide receivers, or ace. No, it's not ace, it's trips. 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 running back. So obviously the running back and the tight end is Ashton and Brock Bowers. And then you got Jacoby, Trey Tucker, and Dante Thornton. So that was a trip to me that Thornton is starting. He starts. If Petey said they're going to play the starters tomorrow against Seattle, we don't know how much, but Petey said he's going to play the starters, and Dante Thornton starts wide receiver right now for the Las Vegas Raiders, a rookie wide receiver starts. But also, and when Michael Mayer was getting interviewed earlier in camp or in between camp and OTAs, Michael Mayer let slip that they was running some 12 and 13 personnel. So you put this depth chart out here with this 3 wide receiver, but it very well could be 3 tight ends, Bowers, Mayer, and Ian Thomas, who you have listed as 1, 2, and 3 on the depth chart, but all of those guys could be in at one time because they already kind of that slip that kind of what was happening. And we know they want to run the football with Ashton, so it makes sense that they might put some more tight ends out there, or at least double tights. 12 personnel is what they call that. But right here on the depth chart, they got it broken down as 11 personnel with 3 wideouts. So those are 3 wideouts, man. Tucker, Myers, Thornton. I just thought that was interesting that the rookie starts. I thought that they would put out a 12 personnel depth chart with Mayers, but they did it this way. I was also interested, man, in, like we said at the top, JPJ / Alex Kappa. So what does this mean? If we not there, you know what I'm saying? We not on the staff. If we stop trying to read stuff and just see what it is, bro. He don't start. They haven't. If JPJ is gonna be part of the starting 5 yet, it looks like Meredith is the starting center, and that way you can say Meredith took his position already. I don't want to, say that like JPJ is something, but he's not playing center, and he ended the year as the center. Introduced himself to Ashton Genty when they met as the starting center. Now he's not that. Then you're like, okay, well, we're going to move him to guard. Adam Van, you feel like he could be an all-pro guard at some point. Then he's not starting guard. He got a slash. He got the, JPJ Kappa, right? So what is that saying? If we are not reading, trying to, get in brains like the coaches of the Vegas Raiders, and just read for what it is, man, that he's slash. I don't know if Kappa or Jackson Powers Johnson is going to start right guard. So it's Miller from the left. Miller, Dylan Parham at the left guard, which is surprising to me. I had Dylan Parham as fighting for his life to keep a job. I heard that he supposedly has bulked up and is like 330 pounds, but I also heard that he don't look 330 pounds. And my problem with him was he gets overpowered, especially on short yardage plays when they know, we bought a, yard or two. So like goal line, maybe fourth and short, he often gets overpowered, man. That's all I'm saying. Maybe he didn't got hella stronger. Maybe he's proven something to this coaching. So to me, I thought Parham was going to be the odd man out. I asked to the guard play since the season ended. If you go look back on my channel on YouTube, you see I was showing film on guards in college immediately when draft season started. A lot of guys got drafted that I was talking about too. We didn't draft any of the guys that I was talking about, but I was talking about the guard play. And then they immediately got Kappa over. I'm like, see, they know the guard play was trash. And then they end up drafting Caleb Rogers, who they're gonna end up putting inside at the. So Rogers is probably not far from being able to get out there, man. And maybe that's the surprise because he played a lot of college games. Caleb Rogers, tackle. I think he played all the positions, maybe not center, but he played tackle and guard for sure. He was mostly a tackle, but they projected him as guard when he came to the league. So that's what he's playing. He's backing up Parham right now. But anyway, Miller, Parham, Meredith, the center. Then the slash, Powers Johnson and Kappa, and then DJ Glaze. So DJ with Mumford behind DJ Glaze. Mumford came and DJ Glaze came and solidified himself. So shout out to him, man. He's gonna be a fantastic player, I think. He's only gonna get better. I know he hated to see his homie JAKORIAN go because they both came from Maryland. They played together. But yeah, shout out to DJ. I hope you keep getting better, man. I hope seeing you out there for a few plays tomorrow. Check you up, how you out there, man. So second-year player DJ Glaze right there holding down that right tackle spot, man. And then Jacoby, Tucker, Geno Smith, and Ashton Jeanty. And we already said Dante Thornton. So, as I did now, man, I feel a little bit better. We know Bowers is proven, and we know what Jacoby is going to bring to the table. We know what Geno is going to bring. We know Geno is better than Aiden. Geno is better than Jimmy G. Geno is better than Gardner Minshew. Jimmy G is better than Desmond Ridder, right? So these are all the guys. He's better than Jarrett Stidham, right? These are all the guys that we've had since Carr left. Since Josh McDaniels blamed everything on Carr and still ended up getting fired because he thought Tom Brady was going to come back. But, blamed Carr, got Carr out of here, and then Brady told him no, and then we had that series of quarterbacks that I just named. Well, we know Geno is better than all of those. Ashton, we don't know. We hope. Right? He's a can't prospect, but even in can't miss prospects, there's always the possibility that we did miss. I don't think so. And you remember, I'm the one that said, let's draft him. I was all over that. I was like, stop playing with this man. I got a video that says, stop playing with him and draft him. And we did. He was last in every category in rushing last year. So we needed a top flight back. We needed an upgrade to the running back room. I feel like we got here. All right. Well, as I go over the depth chart, I don't feel as bad now, man, as I analyze it. We know Bowers is proven. And then when you look at that Geno and Ashton replacing, and I that Zamir is not going to have a bounce back year. Zamir currently is the second team running back. But last year that was Minshew and White, right? Now that's Geno Smith and Jeanty. So that is an improvement, man. And then Chip is scheming the run up better to where we're going to be able to, I'm hoping the Raiders are going to be able to find some gaps to run in. We'll see tomorrow, man. Remember, I told y'all, I'm looking forward. I'm looking to this first game to see if we're going to be able to be running the ball. Remember last year, they was this exact same thing. They want to be the team that this team is saying they want to be. Ball control and play good defense. Flip the field with our good punt game and shorten games with our offense with long drives and, be a deep club, not too high scoring games like that. The same thing that Antonio Pierce wanted to do. Which, by the way, that brings me to something. So I hear guys saying little flip stuff about Antonio, and maybe I'm just taking it wrong, but this he wanted to do, but Petey is just being allowed to do it, I feel. So, and the first and foremost, it starts with that Chip Kelly contract that they gave him 6 seasons, and they couldn't even give Cliff Kingsbury 3. And that's who AP wanted. See, people like, oh, he hired Getsy. He should be held accountable for that. Bro, he wanted Cliff Kingsbury, but upstairs wouldn't do the contract. So don't forget that. That's all I'm saying, man. You guys are quick to, oh yeah, he knew he wanted to do, but didn't know how to do it. Bro, he wanted Cliff Kingsbury, the going to the NFC Championship with the rookie Q that he wanted. Okay, and yeah, one call J5, but 1,000%. Mark Davis was the reason that they didn't get Cliff Kingsbury. He vetoed the 3 deal. That's because he knew he really wasn't messing with it like that, man. You know what I'm saying? He knew what he was doing, man. He just gave that year to AP to appease us fans because we was all chanting for him. And he was using that time to get his money up when he was out there selling parts of the team and now he has that cash. And he moved on from AP. Man. So that's all I'm saying. If you're going to talk about AP, tell the real, bro. And I ain't trying to go on and all that, man. But I'm just saying, y'all got to keep it 1,000, man, when y'all talk about the guy, dude. Yeah, he had a gang of coaches and all that. But the fact still remains, Devontae punked out, and they never got Kingsbury. They could only give him a 2-year deal. They gave Chip 6, right? And that's where the crap began, man, when he couldn't get his old core that he wanted. And now he had to be held accountable for all that. So all I'm saying is keep it 1,000, man, when you speak on him, man. Because, yeah, he was young coach and all that and was learning on the job pretty much. But he definitely wanted a better old core than that and couldn't get it. It wasn't his fault. And he wanted better quarterbacks than he had, and he couldn't get it, and it wasn't his fault. All of a sudden this year they get better QB. They get the old core signed up for 6 years, right? So I'm just saying, bro, look at what really went wrong. Don't follow the little these out here on these podcasts and whatnot, man, from these guys bought and paid for from behind the scenes, who'll be sponsoring some of these cat shows and all that to where they be talking how they talk. But 100% Mark Davis in the way of AP, what he wanted to do. And we now got the cash up and all that he just used AP as a bridge year and sabotage. That's my take. If nobody say you can say it or whatever, but that's what I say happened. So anyway, back to the game. We're going to be interested to see if we can run the ball. Remember I was saying that. So if first couple plays tomorrow, if that run game is looking stagnant like it did last year versus San Francisco and Dallas and Minnesota, them preseason games he played last year, if you remember, the run game was trash. They couldn't run. Wasn't nobody getting yards. They was out there tattooing Amir White and Alexander Madison. They didn't even, I don't nobody else getting a rock. And I remember commenting like, yeah, that run, they trying to just, run on. I remember a commenter being like, yeah, they going to need some depth if they just going to be trying to run like that, right? Because they was just running straight at guys. There was no creases, no movement. It was stale. That was that job, bro. Anyway, so we going to see. Or was it the O-line? Carroll and staff seems to think, nah, it wasn't. That it was something else. So we going to see. We are going to see tomorrow. And I know it's preseason. Y'all like, it's preseason. It don't mean nothing. Yeah, that's what they'll say. I saw last year that they couldn't run in preseason. Then when they got to the season, they couldn't run. So what that mean? Exactly. The shit means something. The first few series of plays mean something. Yeah, they not all no game stuff, right? They not game planning for Seattle. They just gonna run some plays, but some of the plays should work sometime, bro, because the Seattle not game planning for y'all, so they don't know what you finna run. So the run game just was not good last year, and that's why it was looking like that. So if it's looking like that this preseason, this year, when we start off tomorrow, Thursday, August 7th, 2025, shout out to D Money. If you know, D Monger with us. It's his birthday tomorrow. Shout out to D Money. But yeah, if we can run the ball tomorrow, D-Money birthday, then we might have something here, man. We might have something. But if it's looking stale, right? If Ashton or Zamir, Raheem Mostert, Sincere McCormick, Dylan Laube, Chris Collier, any of those guys, if they get in there and can't move the pile 2-3 yards, and it's we run into the, you know how it is, man, the game on TV, bro. They handle the ball, they're gonna be able to come out on the other side, or they get stuck. Last year was a bunch of stuff right there, stalemates at the line. Is it gonna be a bunch of that tomorrow? If it is, ooh, baby, we in trouble. I'm just keeping it 1,000, man. This year I said I wasn't gonna get all hyped. I'm keeping it 1,000, man. If that's the case, season is not gonna be good, man. So we're gonna see O-line. We're gonna see JPJ if you start. Ashton, we see what happens, man, with the movement of that line and this Chip Kelly offense. I can't wait to see it. Let's go to defense. Max, Jonah, Adam Butler, Malcolm Combs is the defensive line. I ain't gonna lie, underwhelmed when I first read that. But I like Jonah. Jonah's poised for a breakout season. Max is Max. I like Adam Beasley. And then Malcolm, man. Malcolm is who, Malcolm is not about Dre-like type guy right now. We kind of forgetting how good, and that's why I feel like I was underwhelmed, because if Malcolm is like he was in that Chiefs game, right? Christmas, we went to the Kansas City and whooped them year before last. If he's playing at that level, and then we got Butler, Jonah stepping up a little bit better from last year because he was coming on strong last year. And then Max has a bounce back year. We talking digit sacks. Okay, we can be decent. A little bit worried about stopping the run. I feel like this is a little bit light right here. I know Jonah is not 300 and Adam is not either. So it looks a little light in the trying to stop that run in the National Football League. So we're going to see, man. Too deep, but Tyree backing up Max. We know that we're going to see Tyree at the 2 defensive tackle spots as well. Got Zach Carter, Leaky Fotu, who I said earlier was a little dinged up right now. Snowden, my man, made some good plays last year, and I like him. Good, good second tier. And then we got the young third team. It's all rookies. Josh Joyner, J.J. Pegues, Tank Tonka, Hemingway. So that's a good group. That's youth right there. So yeah, that's 12 guys, man. And then we got the guy that we just, Thomas Booker. So he's not on there yet, but Thomas Booker should be added to that. Also, Keandre Colburn is added to that, the guy that we got from Tennessee. That's they got like 14 guys to work with, man. They should find some combination of 4 at a time that can get the job done. And then a solid rotation of 4, right? You got 8 guys coming in and out the game. Maybe even 9 or 10. You got 14 dudes here to choose from, man. You need to be able to get the best out of all these guys. So I like that. I like the sheer numbers at the tackle spot. I like what they're doing right there. And I'm telling you that translated to double-digit victories back in 21 when they did that. When Gruden and Mayock thought they needed to bring in a bunch of D linemen, and they did that. And we won. All right, moving on to the linebackers, it says Pratt, Roberts, and White. Now, that's a 4-3 depth chart, right? Nobody runs 4-3, legitimate 4-3 in the National Football League anymore, right? Really on any down, but the 3 starting backers, the Sam, Will, Mike, Roberts, White, all veteran guys. All guys go sideline to get the football, tackle the football, and secure tackle. 2 good tacklers these guys are. Behind them it says Jamal Adams, Tommy Eichenberg, Jalen Smith. Don't know how good Jalen is at this point. We know his story. He used to be really good. And then Eichenberg last year, the kid from Ohio State, is backing up Elandon. I heard that he's been balling too in training camp. I heard some good things about Tommy Eichenberg. And then Jamal Adams. So I guess that's where it's going to get a little tricky for teams. Adams and Pratt are going to probably interchange, right? And then you're also going to be able to be bringing in Jeremy Chin at the big nickel, maybe with Adams out there already, right? And then the regular nickel, perhaps with Adams out there already. So you can do some different blitzing out of that. So that's going to be that little part of the Raiders defense where Patrick Graham is able to mess around and play games with quarterbacks with that look. So that Jermaine Pratt, Jamal Adams is going to be interesting. And then, they got 3 corners, Jones, Porter, and Stokes. So obviously, we got Porter and Stokes outside, Darnay at the nickel. And you could have Roberts and White in. You could have Roberts and Pratt in, right? Or you could have Roberts and Adams in. Or you could have White and Adams, right? If you really want to be faster. So it's all kind of combinations that they can do. But what I will say about the linebackers is this is the most experienced group. And, these guys, some people introduce as old. Well, not really, man. Elandon is only 31, I mean. He's the oldest. And you got a good mix of youth in there, too, with Eichenberg and Lindbergh and Amari Gaynor, right? Matt Jones as well is another youngster. So they got youth in the room, but they got veteran leadership. You need linebackers that's played a lot of football, man, because they're not easily fooled. They played against the quarterbacks that are in the league that we're going to be playing against. So, they have experience. They want experience at that position because they're the ones that got to make a lot of quick decisions, right? The D really has their assignment, their gap, their stunt, or whatever they're doing, right? The DBs are kind of reacting to the receiver coverage they're in. They know they got to watch that guy. The linebackers are kind of read and react every time, every game. So you need linebackers that's seen a lot of football, man. You need linebackers that's seen a lot of the quarterbacks in the league already, and the old cores in the league already, right? So it's an experienced position that you need. You need experience at that position, and we do have that. And all these guys can tackle. Rooting for Devin White, because Devin has some personal things going on in his life that he revealed. I'm glad he shared that with us. He didn't have to with our business, but he's looking to bounce back he was in a different type of place mentally the last year and a half. He'll tell you, and he got hurt. So he's healthy and he's ready to make a comeback. So I'm looking for like one of the best years of his career from Devin White. If we get that, that's only going to be good for the Raiders. So I like the experience. Then we go to the DBs. They got Porter, Stokes, Holmes, 3 corners, right? So outside is Porter and Stokes. Him and Jeremy Chin as the starting safeties. When they play big nickel, it's going to be interesting to see who's going to be the deep on the B Harper. Will it be Chris Smith? Will Chris Smith finally get some burn? Guy out of Georgia a few years ago, played with Brock. These guys are all on the same team. So I've heard that Chris has been balling. Gino mentioned Chris doing some good things this past training camp. So Chin, Polamalu, okay, right? You might not be exciting, but Polamalu's just coming on to his own. Looking for him to have his best year as a pro. And Chin is steady, man. The Swiss Army knife. Man. A lot of football, sure tackler, willing tackler, and a good guy as well, and a good locker room guy. So my concern, the second nickel corner, right? So when they going regular nickel, who besides Darnay Holmes do they have? So listed is Greedy Vance, Caillou Blue, Kelly after him. Haven't seen a lot of Caillou Blue playing. However, Greedy Vance, USC guy by way of Florida State, I've heard good things from him in camp. He looks to, he's got to be a tackler to play right there in PG's defense. Even though with the Pete Carroll influence, we still know that this is PG's defense. And that, remember Hobbs, that Hobbs role, Hobbs had to make a lot of tackles. So DB right there in nickel, and just the nature of the game, man. You basically playing linebacker when they run the ball. You know what I'm saying? If you guard in the third, they run, you got a gap. Smaller guy, but he's got to be a willing tackler. obviously Darnay is. Rounding it out, man, they got D-Cam backing up Porter. Nobody backing up Stokes. So Stokes looks like he's locked up the corner. He's had injury concerns early in his career, former first-round pick from Georgia as well, I believe. But he looks to have locked up his side, and it's just a question of the other spots. D-Cam behind Porter, Greedy Vance behind Holmes, Sam Webb behind D-Cam, Kelly behind Greedy Vance. And then they got third team corner behind Stokes, JT Woods, a guy that they converting from safety, Baylor. So there you have it, man. The Raiders, too deep. Depth, I don't know, I mentioned too deep on the offensive line, but I did mention, swing players like Kappa, right? So, what you guys think, man? I'm looking for us to be able to move the ball tomorrow on the ground and be stout against the run. I'm looking to see what the defense looks like when they first get out there. See if we can get a turnover, because that's what they've been preaching in the camp. And it's exciting time, man. I can't wait to see the guys run out there, man. You know how it is when they run out there in that silver and black, boy. It's something else. So we'll see, man. Tomorrow, it doesn't really matter if we win, because that's not what it's all about. It's just football practice. But we want to win when our guys are in there, and we want to be able to be moving the ball when our guys are in there. And even when our third team guys are in there for depth, guys fighting, competing for some roster spots and spots, and see them playing hard too and finishing. So can't wait to see it tomorrow on D Money birthday, man. Shout out to D Money, man. Love you, man. And like I always say,